If you're anything like me, you grew up with strict parents. Now, if you were lucky like me, you grew up with strict foreign parents. Foreign parents are a different type of breed.
Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out!
Because when I would go out to my local Dollar General and see these spoiled brats throwing a temper tantrum, I would wonder, how are these kids still breathing? Because the first time I ever tried to do that with my mother, she didn't hesitate to put me in my place right then and there. And from then on, my parents would just give me that look. You know what look I'm talking about. Especially when we were around any of my mom's friends or even at church. She would give me the death stare if I was acting up, and that would be enough for me to stop acting up and act like a responsible young adult. In a way, I'm grateful that I had strict parents because they didn't let me become the embodiment of an iPad kid. The amount of iPad kids that I see when I go outside every day bothers me. Do these parents not care about their kid enough to take the iPad away from them and talk to them as their parent? Because every time I go out, I at least hear one kid throwing a temper tantrum because their mother told them no to a piece of candy. Honestly, if you just showed me a compilation of kids throwing a tantrum in public, that would be more than enough for me to wrap my shit up next time, so I don't end up with one of these foul creatures screaming every time I go out in public to get my struggle meals. That's one of the good things about having strict parents, is that they kept you in check. One of the bad things though is that you had to learn how to be sneaky, man, because that was especially true for all the girls that I dated. All of them had strict parents, and that limited the amount of things we could do. Or when a shorty would try and sneak me into her house, it deadass felt like I was playing a GTA stealth mission. The way they had me maneuvering to not get caught by the neighbors. Or one time, she even snuck me in when her parents were in there asleep. Man, if my stealth points aren't at max, I don't know what is, man. Having strict parents as a kid though meant you were always doing something wrong. I remember getting lectured, and if I didn't say anything, they would start getting mad, saying I'm not paying attention to them. Or if I start talking while they're lecturing me, they get mad and saying that I'm talking back. If I'm inside all day, they say I should be outside playing with my friends. And if I go play outside with my friends for the day, they get mad at me saying I'm always out late. Like, which is it? I can't clone myself and be at two places at once. So what do they want from me? Strict parents also wanted you to do well in school, which is great and all. But if you're anything like me, I found that shit boring. Like, when am I ever gonna use the equation y equals mx plus b in the real world? Or what about when I go and sit down for an interview? They're not gonna tell me, yes, Audacity. Now, for the final question of this interview, do you know the importance of the Battle of Yorktown and how it helped us win the American Revolution? What interviewer has ever asked that? Nobody. Exactly. If you like those subjects, by all means, you do you. But for me, that shit just put me right to sleep. Point is, I always brought home bad grades, and the only thing that kept me from failing my classes was the fear of the whooping that I would get when I would bring home bad grades to my dad. So I had to find up with creative ways to pass my classes, like cheating and copying off my friends. Back in my day, before ChatGPT, we had Asian friends, which was technically the ChatGPT beta, but in the real world. So shout out to all my Asian friends, because the ones that came back home with even a B, they would come to school the next day with bruises on their arms. Those are true soldiers right there. Y'all ever had to try to negotiate with your strict parents on something like, let's say you wanted a dog or a new phone? You had to bring up a whole slideshow presentation and do your whole chores for the week just for them to even consider your thought. And then once they actually listen to you, they have the audacity to tell me, but you never even cleaned the bathroom. Of course I didn't clean the bathroom. I don't want to touch that dookie filled toilet that I do my business in. Do they know the things that I left in there? I'm not cleaning all that. I swear, you can never win with strict parents, man. One of the things I found really unfair as a kid was an allowance. My parents never believed in that. When I brought up the idea of an allowance to them, they looked at me like if I was crazy. In their minds, an allowance was just an urban myth. They didn't believe in any of that. They would always hit me with the, why should I give you an allowance for you to do the basic needs around the house? What do you mean? I'm a whole child and I'm doing all of this? It's basically child labor at this point. At least give me a couple dollars so I can buy the Light of Spider-Man shoes or that new Lego game I always wanted. But nah, they'd rather work their kid to the brim after coming home from a long, tiring day at school learning my times tables, man. Shit is hard, they just don't understand, man. The funny thing too is that foreign parents don't even believe when you tell them that you feel sad, depressed, or unmotivated. They'll laugh at you and tell you, back in my day, I had to climb mountains, swim rivers, and fight off mountain lions. just to get to school with no shoes on. Which is like, damn, old man, I see you, but we're in the new age now of technology where we have different types of problems, but they don't care. They're not gonna listen to you. You're just a kid, what do you know? They'll just put you to cook, clean, or if you had Hispanic parents like me, they'll put you to work with them. Which back when I was 14, my dad would do that all the time. But I ended up getting money to buy my own things. And I was balling with $200 at the age of 14, so I didn't mind. En conclusion, strict parents had their ups and downs, right? But overall, I'm happy I had them. If you had any strict parent stories, comment them down below. Check out these videos before you go. Thank y'all for watching, pendejos y pendejas, and I'll catch y'all soon.